And so if you're anything like me, you probably use Canva on a daily basis for your business. And so what I want to do is share some of my favorite hacks and features that I use inside of Canva to make my designing process go a whole lot smoother and faster. And so let's go ahead and jump in. So the first hack slash feature that I want to share with you in Canva that I absolutely love is being able to create several different brand kits with different brand colors. A lot of times we have templates that we're creating for maybe a digital product that we're selling. So we don't always want it to be completely just specifically our brand colors. We want to have light and airy. We want to have maybe a boho vibe, or we want to have like muted colors and what have you. And so it's really nice to go ahead and have brand boards that you can easily access and just choose your colors for each one of your designs. And so right here, what I'm going to do is show you how to add colors to a brand kit. So what you first want to do is come here and add new. As you see, I have two brand kits here. Now I'm going to add the third one that will be for creating digital products and things of that nature. So let's go ahead and add new. Okay, so right here is where you would come to individually add one color at a time. If you click this, it's going to pop up this whole color spectrum for you to choose your color, or you can add the hex code below. So instead of doing that, we're just going to X that out. And so what we're going to do to easily add in several colors at one time is use a color palette photo that I have with all the colors listed that I want to use on this palette. And so what I'm going to do is come right here and add that picture in. And so now you just select the picture that you want to add. This one's the boho vibe that I want. And so I'm just going to upload. And now it's going to pull in all of those colors. Ta-da! So you see all of the colors have been easily pulled in, and it just makes it so easy and your process go a whole lot faster and smoother. And then when we come back to our brand kits, right here, you can see it's got the picture of the boho, and I'll change this out. This is just one I grabbed from the internet. And so this will be what I'll use for this particular boho palette. And I just wanted to kind of show you how you could easily pop in those colors without a whole lot of fuss to it. And so that's one of the cool little features that I absolutely love when it comes to working with brand kits. It makes it so much easier and faster and smoother to get your colors popped in and get to working on your designs. Okay, so let me share with you my next favorite tool slash feature from Canva. That is the Magic Grab tool. This makes it so much easier to edit and move pictures around, especially if you're creating thumbnails for YouTube. For the longest time, I used to have to stretch my pictures out, move myself around. So for example, to just kind of give you an idea, this right here is just some uploads, pictures that I've used and have, and that I can kind of just work from to start creating a thumbnail. However, sometimes when you're working with a picture, you could have one like this to where it's really offset, and I really just need me. But to get this to kind of look right, build a frame a certain kind of way, you're going to have to kind of move it around, and then it starts blowing your picture up of you, and it just starts looking all kind of crazy. And it can be a little difficult to kind of get yourself positioned in the thumbnail perfectly. And so it's a whole process and just a whole thing. So what I'll do is I'll bring this back down to normal size. Actually, let me just delete it out and I'll just pull it over into here, this one here. Say this is the one we wanted. And so say I just wanted to use just me and me holding this camera that I'm using for this particular picture. It's going to be really difficult if you do remove background, because when you remove the background, as you see, that camera was kind of blurred out and it was out of focus. So it basically took my camera away. So that's not going to work. However, if you use the Magic Grab tool, it makes this process so much easier, and it allows you to be able to move yourself around in the pictures. And so let me just show you how to use the Magic Grab tool. You'll first come right here to edit, and then you're going to come over here under the Magic Studio area, and you're going to select Magic Grab. Once you select Magic Grab, you can now start clicking on what you want this to pick up. And so I'm going to just click all the things that I want it to have. There we go. And it's pretty much, well, I think got everything. So I just wanted me and my tripod stick and my camera. And so now I'm going to hit grab. And so now this will grab me out of the picture. And now, as you see, you can kind of move this around. And I can also delete this background and use a more appropriate background that I would like to use. For example, my filming studios. And so I'm going to pull this in right here, and I'm going to hit position and to the back. Okay. And I'm going to actually blow this up a little bit, pull this to make it kind of bigger for my background so that things start to proportionally look correct. And we'll kind of have to work with it just a bit, but this really makes the process go a whole lot smoother. Let's see, I'm going to leave space for, text and all of that fun stuff. And I I really do hate that the camera is out of focus. However, in the grand scheme of things, it won't matter that much. So let's click here and let's go to edit. And let's also use the blur effect. And we're going to blur this so that that way the background isn't as distracting in the picture. And actually, we're going to hit whole image. And so right here, you're going to be able to select, do you want to do specific areas or do you want to do the whole image? We're going to need to do the whole image. So I'm just going to select whole image. And then the slider bar here will allow you to kind of move left to right to kind of blur it based on the intensity of how intense you want the blur to be. So I'm just going to kind of do around, let's see, an 8. Let's see if that 8 or 9 is fine. Okay, so we'll just go with 9. And now we've got that blurred out. And so now here I am, and I can kind of work with this and start really building out my thumbnail for this particular video. So right here, I've kind of already got a thumbnail kind of created that I can work from. Once you start getting thumbnails and things like that created, you'll see that it goes a whole lot smoother and faster with being able to pull from other ones and just drop and drag. So I'm going to duplicate. Let's come right here, and I'm going to use this title, and I'm going to drop and drag it over here to this picture. Perfect. And then I'm going to just put Canva hack tutorials. And of course, I'm going to put more thought into this, but this is just a quick showing you what my process looks like. And I would kind of probably tighten this up, make things to where it kind of rolls and fits a little bit better. And once you kind of get this where you want it, you could also lock your background so that it's not moving around and it's not as hard to work with. And so basically, to lock your picture and your background in place, you can just click on the picture, the image there, and you want to select these 3 dots when this little pop-up menu comes up. And then you just want to come down here to lock and select lock once that little sidebar menu pops up. And that's going to lock this in place so that it's not constantly moving around. It just makes it a whole lot easier to work with. And so while we're here, the next hack / feature that I want to share with you is the brand grab. Say, for example, I wanted to add the Canva logo in here, and I don't want to have to just go and search for the Canva logo or go to elements and try to find it in there. Sometimes it's hit or miss on if you get the perfect logo and the colors and all of that to be correct and right. Another way that you can go about finding different brands logos is to come right here to the apps area on your sidebar menu, type in brand fetch. And this is going to pull up the Brand Fetch app, and you're just going to select open. So as you see here, it says trending on Brand Fetch. It would be Canva, Apple, Linktree, Reddit, Shopify, all the different ones. And so what I'm going to do is I actually needed Canva, so this worked out perfectly. So I'm just going to select here, and then I'm going to figure out which one I want to use. They have the 4 different logo options here. They also have the colors, so you could pull in these colors for Canva, or you could also look at images that they have related to this specific brand. So let's go back here to logos. And what I'm going to do is just select the Canva here, drop that in here. And so that right there is the Canva logo that I can use to help to begin to build out my YouTube thumbnail. Now, of course, this thumbnail has got a whole lot more work to go, but this is the kind of the gist of it. And the other cool thing is, like I said, you could totally do a square. So, and see if they have like Squarespace. They have Square Up. Let's see if they have Chick-fil-A. Yep, they have Chick-fil-A, so you can pull in Chick-fil-A, and it just makes it so much quicker and easier to find whatever brand's logo that you need without having to go through hundreds of different designs that are in elements and kind of having to figure it out if that's going to work for you or not. So for this next hack, it's going to be quick color application. And so let me break down what I mean there. So as you see here, I've kind of created these different images and graphics, and I've got all of my branding colors behind here. Say, for example, if I was working on something, a template or what have you, and I wanted to change out these colors here, what you can do is come over here to elements and search for 80s. I'm an 80s kid and I absolutely love the 80s. And so I never get tired of it, but I don't know that it'll be much different than what you're seeing here, but let's see what it comes up with. And we're going to go to photos and we're going to see, okay, is there anything that we absolutely love? Say, for example, we liked this picture here and we wanted to kind of implement these colors within our picture. A way to kind of go about doing that would be to click this picture here, right click, and come down to apply colors to page. And as you see, it starts quickly changing out like the colors, and you can hit it again. And every time you hit it, it will change up the colors, like the combination of colors that are there. And so say, for example, you hit it again and it does this color combination. It's the coolest little hack ever. And so it makes editing graphics go a whole lot smoother and quicker and faster. So say for example, I wanted to create an image similar to this to where I've got text behind the picture of me. So here's the way that you can easily do that. So what I'm going to do is come down here to this blank picture that I have here, and I'm going to pull my picture over that I want to work from. So for example, this would be the picture. So I'm going to pull this in and I'm going to pull this down and, kind of crop it right there. Now, this is probably not the perfect picture, but it'll do for what I'm wanting to show you of just how to get text behind you. So I'm going to drop the transparency on this picture just so that it's not as bright. And so we'll go down to about 78% transparency. So now that I've got that kind of worked out, now what I want to do is go ahead and put my text on here. So I'm going to come here to text image, and then I'm going to just select a text. And this is League Spartan. And what I'm going to do is go up to 55 just to make it kind of large. And I'm going to put Happy Monday. And this would be like a text image for social media, what have you. And then I would probably put something, like a whole quote and saying with it. So what I'm going to do is change this text color to white so that this kind of pops. And then I'm going to put an effect on it and just kind of give it a little bit of a shadow. And I'm going to put the shadow color behind it, the hot pink, which is my brand color. Now what I'm going to do is kind of pop this down a little bit. And so now that I have one of the text created, I can just hit duplicate instead of having to type it over and over again. And I can actually select both of them and kind of make it a little bigger because I want it to just kind of be like it runs behind me in the background. So what I'm going to do is select both of these text. I'm going to hit duplicate and I'm going to bring it down and try to evenly space it. And then I'll hit duplicate again and again till it goes all the way down. So now this says Happy Monday all across the top. And what I'm going to do is select this, just group all of these just because it'll be one cell to kind of work with and I don't have to worry about several of them. And so now what I'll do is I'll just kind of slide the text to the right. I'll select the picture and I'm going to hit duplicate. This is going to duplicate that picture and I need to pull that transparency all the way up because I want this picture to be full transparency. And I'm just going to slide the text back over and then I'm going to pull this picture on top of here just like that. And then I'm going to come to BG remover and that's going to remove the background behind me. And then ta-da, there's your image. And so that's how you add text behind yourself easily within your graphics. And so for the next feature that I'm going to share with you, it is the tidy up feature. And I absolutely love this feature because a lot of times when you get to creating graphics, it gets really hard to kind of get things all lined up perfectly and spaced evenly and for it to look the way you want it to look. If you're creating it from scratch, or say, for example, you're creating lines for a paper, like a notebook looking sheet of paper, and you can't get the lines to look exactly the way you want them to where it looks realistic, this next tool is going to be really neat. So let's say that I wanted to use this star and I wanted to create bullet points with this star. And I just wanted to make it to where I could put each one of my points here. But I can't get this all perfectly lined up. All you have to do is just click and select all of these little icons, come right here to the three little dots and come to space evenly and then come right here to tidy up. And then ta-da, it easily aligns all of your elements to where they're evenly and perfectly spaced apart so that you can go back in and add your text for each one of these areas. Say I wanted to create notebook paper like I was talking about earlier. Just select all of these and then come right here to the three dots and then space evenly, tidy up. And then ta-da, you have your lines all evenly and perfectly spaced. So let's say, for example, you wanted to create a type gradient. So where you have font that is kind of gradient and starts with one color and ends with another. So what you'll do is you'll come over here to your sidebar menu, come to the apps tab, and you'll come to the search bar area and you want to type in type gradient, and there it is. And so right here, as you see that little G that goes from orange to pink, that's what we want to create. And so now you'll just hit open, and so now you're able to easily design some gradient text that looks really cool, and you're able to customize it to your specific brand colors. And so what we'll type in here will just be generic, and I'll put Happy Monday, and we'll go ahead and do 2 lines. And so the next step would be to choose whatever font that you want to choose. And so to choose a font, you just come right here under font, click on where it's saying Anton 123, and then you can easily come through here and select a font that you want to select. So say that we're happy with the Anton font. You can then also change the alignment. You can change it to the left alignment, you can change it to center alignment or right alignment. And so I'm just going to kind of keep it center aligned. The next thing you can do is you can actually space your line height to be closer, or you can space it to be farther apart. But I'm just going to kind of bring it right back to the -3.6 because that looks about perfect to me. So to change out your gradient colors or to be able to choose colors that you would like this to shift from one color to the next. And so you just want to click the little circles right here. And this is going to pop up the color menu. And this is going to allow you to be able to move this color bar across here and get to colors that you would like to see. And if I had my hex codes for my colors, I could actually make this an own brand color by just entering in each of the hex codes. And then say I wanted the next color to go to my blue/turquoise colors, this in here. And then I wanted the next one to be that purple. I could also click and add another color. So I could put in a yellow here. And so then it just makes it really fun and bright. And so you can really play around with this and add in several different colors. Say I wanted one here, I could easily come back over here and pull it this way. And so then I have 5 different colors that are, starting from one color and then fading into a whole different color. And it just gives a whole different effect and really cool looking effect with your letters. Say you wanted this to kind of go left or right. You could actually come right here and pull this cursor here and it kind of shifts where the pink starts here at the left side and comes across at a diagonal. Or you could kind of come here and do it that way, or you can make it more squatty and you get a whole different effect. And say I wanted to kind of do it that way. And so say that's the way I wanted it to look. I could then update the element and then just add it to here. And so it's really cool with how you can really make your text super custom and create that super cool and pretty gradient look with customized colors that are on brand for you. So I hope this was super helpful for you and gives you a few different hacks or features that you maybe didn't know about that you can now start incorporating and using and make your design process go a whole lot quicker and smoother. And so until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.